It is Tuesday, I think. Yes, Tuesday, October 18th. Um, Let me send out my tweet real quick while I'm thinking of it. Gotta get the tweet out. Okay, so a few things I want to mention this morning. Um, First and foremost, tomorrow is the kickoff for the Shades Eve event in WildStar. So I presume it's going to actually land sometime after, or maybe right after the maintenance that we normally have. But there have been times when an event kicks off on Wednesday, they just kind of skip over the maintenance. So I don't know how that's going to work. They don't normally post maintenance info until later in the evening tonight or really early in the morning for me tomorrow. So I can't say for sure how that's going to go, but it's set to begin on the 19th, whenever that may be. So, you haven't already marked your calendars, put a post-it on your forehead so that when you wake up in the morning, you'll know that tomorrow is Shades Eve. Um, I haven't seen if they're actually going to be adding anything new. Haven't heard anything specific. The links that they provided were just from those from last year, I think. So uh, presumably it's going to work basically like it did last time. We're going to have the trick-or-treating for the housing stuff. There's going to be the instance. There's going to be lots of decor to grab, both from the instance drops, from doing the dailies, collecting the currency, which I already forgotten what it was called. Shades Eve Silver, I think, is what it was. Um, and Probably going to be some offerings on the shop and all sorts of stuff. So, and of course, we have the Madame Faye offerings that are already available with the apparitions and some of the spooky NPCs, the ominous sky, and that kind of stuff. So, lots of goodies to pick up. Even if you don't plan on using them right away, it's always a good thing to grab what you can. Even if you're not into housing, it's a great way to make some extra cash by selling those items because I guarantee you they're going to be very desirable uh, uh, things. While the prices might be going down right now as more and more people are, getting the Madame Faye goodies and stuff and kind of flooding the market. Um, Later on, that stuff will be very uh, valuable to those that, again, may miss this holiday, and you'll be able to profit off of that. I don't believe I'm saying that, but that's true. That's true of any event that we have. Oh, really? Well, that's weird. Well, we're here, and good morning, Poi. Glad you could join us, and I assume Bones is there too, or Bones' channel is just hosting us off the blue. But anyway, um, so wanted to get that out. Tomorrow, the 19th, is the start of Shades Eve. There are a couple other things I'd like to mention. They're not necessarily housing related, but I always like to promote community things that are going on. So especially for those that maybe don't check the forums regularly, that kind of thing, and just haven't heard about it. So there is a laser tagorama scheduled for, it looks to be November 5th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This is on Entity Exile. It's on the Starship Enterprise built by Chosen Blots. You can look up all of the information about the prizes and things um, on their forum thread. It's in the general discussion section. Um, and they're going to be offering things like costume, hoverboard, pet, um, and there was a stipulation if winners already have an item that they placed for, that maybe they'll work into negotiations for a different prize in place of. So something to get into if you're on Entity Exile side and you got some free time, and of course you can make it at the time that they slated it. Again, that's scheduled for November 5th, 6 p.m. Pacific time. Whatever that is, I have no idea. I really don't even know how the laser tag stuff works, but it's a special course that they built up, and I think Patty and them have held tournaments for that kind of stuff in the past, and it worked out really nice. So I'm not surprised to see other people do the same. Let's see. The other thing is there is a pumpkin carving contest being hosted by Carbine themselves. They've provided some templates you can use, both if you're carving an actual pumpkin and a virtual pumpkin template that you can use if you want to just carve it in a photo editing type of tool. I can't remember when the due date on that was. I think it's the 31st, but I don't hold me to that. I haven't looked at the thread since yesterday. So, but there are two separate rules threads. One is for NA and one is for EU. So whichever region you are associated with, make sure you're reading up on the appropriate rules listings, because I would guess there's some differences between the two. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to break it up that way. But there were some pretty fun entries the last time they had one of these competitions. I myself entered it, got a prize for my little kooky thing. So, you know, the more the merrier, but, you know, if you put it off thinking, well, everybody else is going to enter, then come to find out just a handful of people enter, then you might wish you had taken the opportunity, because you never know. And of course, it's being judged by the Carbine peoples, so who knows what they're actually looking for, what will appeal to them. Um, so, you know, it's just for fun, if nothing else. It's kind of interesting. I had never carved a pumpkin before in that way, so that was pretty fun to kind of try it out. It's not really for me, though. It's kind of messy and smelly, and I don't like pumpkins anyway, so. But for those of you that don't mind getting your hands dirty, carving an actual pumpkin could be fun. Um, Obviously, if it's WildStar themed, uh, the the bolder the better, I'm sure. I know from past carvings, we had people doing actual characters like um, the faces of Orans and Chua. Chua was a very popular one. Whereas others did like Jack Shade, uh, just did like the emblem of like the exile or the Dominion emblems. Uh, some of them, I think there was one that even did like path emblems, just all the different paths and stuff. So anything WildStar related, you know, even if it's not particularly Shades Eve, I think will be welcome. So, you know, it's just one of those things to help promote the game, promote the community, get you guys involved in a little extra something. So I'm hoping that we'll see at least a few people that I know in it. Um, let's see, what else was there? There was something. Ah, yes, the mystery box promo. I'm just going to read this, a little bit of this. It's has to do with the transition from the free to play last year. Uh, there's going to be no more physical boxes. I mean, there's still some out there, but they're dwindling down to basically nil. So they're going to officially end the mystery box promo that's set to end on November 7th. So if you have any promo boxes codes still left that you have not used yet, now is the time to use them, because after the 7th they will be invalid as far as I can understand. Um, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's things like the Snarflinks mount, um, uh, There was like a marauder costume, I think, and I want to say some type of hoverboard thing with flares. It was just some extra goodies that you got, plus I think some game time as well. Uh, if you uh, submitted your code, and now they're going to be closing that up. So your window of opportunity for claiming those goodies is about up. Now they did mention that the Snarf mount, of course, has been recently been made available outside of the mystery box promotion, and they expect the other items to also become available by other means in the future, such as in-game events or for sale in the game store. So if you didn't get a chance to claim or partake in any of these bonus promotions, and you're feeling like, oh, well, I'm going to be out of luck because it's ending, there will be a chance to acquire those items in some other way later on. So you're not completely out the boot there. Okay, so I think that's it for like PSAs or whatever you want to call them. So we're here on my alts plot. This is Dill's plot, the CBDC warehouse. It's one of the few plots that I have actually built on that's, I believe it's still closed to visitors. I kind of keep it as a workshop place. The same place we were building Little Miss Frankenstein here, which I still have to move her over to the other plot eventually. I really didn't have a plan as to what we were going to work on today. Kind of running out of ideas on my own. It's not that I don't have the ideas, but I don't have the capability of, seeing through those ideas. So I'm trying to think of what things we could try and work on that maybe I can squeeze out without too much pressure. I didn't want to do another painting because we just finished that one, and I really don't have any place to put another one that I can think of. So I think what we're going to do is just do some brainstorming today over some props that someone might want to use in, say, a little Halloween / Shades Eve scene that they want to set up on their plot. Whether it be like I said, with tomorrow's kickoff for the Shades Eve event, we do have the housing trick or treat daily. It's something where you go and you grab certain candies from certain plots, and that finishes a little quest for you, and you get some Shades Eve silver from it. Last year, what a lot of folks did was they would set up a special place right close to the teleport pad, so that people didn't have to go hunting their whole entire plot for the little candy bowl. So they would set up a little, almost like a little booth or a little space right at the front. And, this was true on winter plots, jungle plots. It didn't matter what the theme of the plot was, but they would always have like a little space, a little Shades Eve space that they would have their little candy bucket out and available. And of course, we had those that would list out all the names of the people that had the certain types of candy so that you could quickly visit and everything. But part of the fun, I think, or part of the intention of the trick-or-treating is not only to get you to do the quest and earn some more Shades Eve silver, but also to get you out there to visiting neighbors. So while it might be fast and convenient to just go with the same 4 or 5 houses every day, I really strongly suggest you just randomly visit houses, at least for a little bit, just to see what all's out there, because you never know what you're going to come across when you're visiting. I'm always excited about coming up on a new place that I haven't seen before, that actually has some substance to it. I know that the random visitor, you get a lot of empty plots, and stuff, but there's always those little gems waiting out there. I mean, as many homes that we have toured over the past year and then some, it still astounds me that I still come upon houses that I have yet to visit that deserve people coming upon them and checking them out. So use the Halloween or the Shades Eve trick-or-treating as an excuse to go and visit some places that you might not otherwise check out. But to that end, I was trying to think of things that people either used in the past or might find fun to add to their little Shades Eve nook, corner, whatever you want to call it, like little props that you would expect for that kind of a themed little space. So probably the biggest thing that most folks would think of for a decoration is the coffin. Now we do actually have a coffin in game, and I believe it's called the wooden coffin. The only trouble is, one, it's pretty stationary. It's not like the lid opens and closes, so it's not a functional item. Not that anything we make would be functional, but you always have this lid in a certain position. Maybe you want a closed coffin, or maybe you want the lid kind of propped open differently rather than looking like this. Maybe you want it out of a different material. So yeah, in addition to that, this isn't the easiest thing to get a hold of. While there are some that have set them up on the auction house, the last I checked, they were a little on the expensive side because, again, people know that folks are wanting these particular items this time of year, so they're using that to their advantage to make a little extra money. I believe this particular one comes from the Boxing Gym Fab Kit. You would have to actually complete it. I think the challenge for that Fab Kit to be able to get a chance at having this drop. There's other items that particular Fab Kit awards, so it's not a guarantee that you'll get the coffin, but from what I remember, that's where this come from. So what we're going to try and do is fashion our own coffin. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do this. I think I would probably just automatically assume 2x4s would be great, but I'm going to see if we can use something else instead. Something that would allow us to use fewer pieces, perhaps, because with the 2x4s, you're going to have at least 3 or 4 for just the length of it, and then the whole little shape on the end. Just want to see what we can do here. So I think we will see if we can get away with the decking piece. I suspect maybe we can use the corners for the top part of the coffin. And yes, I am still coughing. I am still sick, sort of. But I'm hoping that it will not be a trouble. So, let's see. Do any of you have any special plans for Shades Eve? I mean, I know Poi hasn't experienced Shades Eve yet, so I figured Poi's just going to be like a kid in a candy store going want to do everything. But for those of you that, already experienced it, is there anything in particular that you're aiming for? Myself, I think I'm hoping to get a hold of some more of the Gothic pillars and stuff. I didn't get too many of those, and the candy buckets. I only got like one. Last year I put one out for the plot, and I didn't get any of the others, and I kicked myself afterwards when it ended last time, saying that I probably should have gotten some more of those. because they make good for like when you're doing foodstuffs, um, that kind of thing. Well, aside from like Winterfest slash Christmas, Halloween slash Shades Eve is probably my favorite time of year. And it's not that we really decorate, it's not like we decorate the house or anything, and we don't do the trick-or-treating thing. Partly because here in Belgium, that's not really a major holiday. But I don't know, I just like seeing other people decorate their stuff. Yeah, the pillars. I think the pillars are the more because like I said, I don't like the gate because it has the green glow to it. This looks like the Superman emblem. You can put the S there, and it looks like Superman. But there's plenty of the lights and stuff. They're okay, but they're kind of gaudy, I guess is the word. They kind of clash with everything. Um, Same way with like the hat stick and the angel head stick with all that smoky stuff that doesn't, it's not usable all year round, in my opinion, unless you have a particular plot that stays spooky all year round. But just throwing some pieces out here to see what I can do. Just trying to get the shape in my head as far as, because it like, if you looked at the other coffin, it's like wider up the top and it gets narrower at the feet, because this is like where the head would go and then the feet would be down here. The thing. Oh, is it? I never tried turning it upside down. I haven't been to Penny's lately. Have you really added to it or changed it up since the last time I visited, which was, I guess, last year? This looks like a mummy thing. That's what it looks like. I think it's because of the stripes or something. This looks a little mummy. A sarcophagus. Okay, and then you just adjust the height so that certain things aren't meshing too much, and there you go. There's like a top. And the reason I like using the decking pieces, again, kind of like the 2x4s, um, if I linked all this together, I could use that as a lid and then prop it open however I want. If I wanted to attach with hinges or something to it, that would work fine. Oh, have you? Well, I saw some pictures of some that were doing the waterfalls and stuff. I saw one actually tried to use it with the waterfall. I think it was upside down, and they were just playing with the part where the water would hit the surface of the pool down below, and they were using that as the actual water above, because I think they were trying to make some islands, and they were using several of these upside down waterfalls to try and make it look like I don't know, like a ebbing water from the ocean or something. And it didn't quite look right, but I could see what they were trying to do. So I don't know. I haven't really messed with any except the one that I put up, and I wasn't too happy with it because again, I kept having to tilt it funny just to get it to quit. Because the water surface that I was, the whole lake area, the surface of that bottom part of the waterfall kept it was like this, even though it was at a perfectly supposedly right angle, it was crooked. So I had to eyeball it, and it's like it doesn't bode well. Okay, so there's our lid for our coffin. Now it's a little on the big side, but that's all right. Now to build the base, I would just use some more of these. Now let's copy this one, I guess. Try that again. Get by objects, so it's now if you don't want it that deep, just change the size of it. You're going to have to use more pieces, but at least you get it the width, the depth that you want. One good thing about the decking pieces, even if you're overlapping, they don't tend to flicker as much because the wood panels are kind of offset weirdly anyway. Now, one thing you will have to be mindful of is there are little gaps between the slats. So if you have something inside here, like a mummy or something, that might be visible if the lid is closed. If you want that completely solid, you'll have to double up on everything. That's kind of the problem I had with my bakery when I used the decking as like cabinetry. Yeah, yeah. And not completely related, but that reminded me. I heard from Adelon. I don't know if any of you know who Adelon is. He's a builder on Entity side. He made he's the one that was really into the math kind of aspect of building, doing a lot of calculations and getting those really fancy, like, I don't know, it looked like mathematical, what do you call those, kaleidoscope type of looks on the items and stuff. He made some kind of a pirate thing, and there was like uh, all sorts of work stuff. He was a great builder. He did a dubstep club, I think, and everything. Anyway, he's actually still around, but not playing because apparently he got locked out of the forum. And as well, he can't get into the game because apparently the game keeps reinstalling or something. Um, I don't know if he's been able to reach out to everybody, but if you do know of who I speak, then it's just kind of a sad thing because I know he was the real big advocator of housing. He's the one that did the updated housing guide in the forums for those that seek information about how to get started and stuff. And it's just unfortunate that he's found himself unable to reconnect with everyone. Oh, come on, Bobby. Like for a short person, this. Now notice one thing I would mention about these decking pieces, they do have a bit of a lip. You see how this one's got like a little hooky bit on the, oh, it's probably hard to see. Let me just copy that. See how it's got a little bit of a lip. Make sure whatever you're building with them that the right side of those are the exposed part. You know, there might be instances where you want that little lip showing. Maybe you're wanting to make like a little tray or something, and you want that extra little lip on there. But for the most part, I tend to keep that on the inside. Let's see. I'm sure there are other materials you could probably use, like any of the flat stuff. Like if you really want a nice metallic looking coffin, the travel posters would probably be your best bet. Even the, oh, what do you call them? The graded floor panels, those would probably be usable. Quite sure how far I need to come out with that. Some other flat things, I'm trying to think. 2x4s again would be usable, or you could use the metal edged ones if you want like some joints on it or whatever. Why is that looking way different than the other? Maybe I have it pushed out too far. Oh, that would be why. Because I think I have it the wrong size. Let's see, that was 35. Yeah. There we go. Where is the 96? There we go. Much better. Yes, none of my lip. You're so good with those. What do you call them? Puns or whatever. These. Some other props that you might want to give a try is, of course, like the cauldron, the bubbling cauldron. Now, we do have a few options that might work for you. There is the witch's brew, which a lot of people, I think, tend to go to that one just because of the name. And it's got a nice green color, and it's got the nacho cheese bubbly stuff in the inside the pot, and of course it has the sound effects with the bubbling noise, and it's got the smoke. But this one I want to say it's just a world drop. I really honestly don't know where it comes from. But there's actually one that comes straight from the vendor. I believe it's the Skeech one. Uh, yeah. It's not green, it's black. And actually some people may prefer, because it has black, a black color, but it has bones in it that, so it's a little added gore. But it too has the sound and the smoke and all of that. But there are options if you want uh, something different. Maybe you don't want yours sitting on top of the fire. Maybe you want yours hanging over a fire, like attached to some kind of a spit bar thingy. Um, or you just want it sitting on a counter, so you don't want that fire effect going on. Or maybe you just don't want the noise of both of these cauldrons. You can fashion your own. There's the, um, pardon me, probably the favorite for a non-noisy cauldron would be the Draken one. I think those are crafted. I think. Let me check real quick. Check that. Yes, they are crafted. So it's just a matter of either being an architect yourself or being friends with one, to convince them to build you a couple of cauldrons if you want it. I would say that if you're going to add some kind of like animated or some kind of like a soup goo stuff inside it, inside the Draken cauldron, you're going to have some trouble in getting something that's maybe the right size, but it's an alternative if you don't want the noise and stuff of the other. So I'll make this a little smaller. Just enough. Okay, so that's the top and the sides. So the top I already have linked together, but I want to keep it separate from the sides. And what I'm going to have to do here is I want to make a set of the top. Let's put this in the fall season, I guess. We'll say coffin top. New, and then add the linked set and place the second one, and that'll be our bottom. Because if I decide I want to open this, this will be where we see how everything is not perfectly aligned. Then you can have it open and have a skeleton, or one of your mannequins dressed up in like bandages and stuff, and that would be your little spooky coffin. I like it closed better. So we've got the top and the bottom, they're all linked together. Let's link up this stuff here. Let's see. Link it all to the bottom, I guess. Here. Just make sure you get all the pieces. Again, if I had the top like away faced out, then I could probably just say link everything. But I like making little mini sets, especially if it's on the place that I'm going to be leaving it. Because then later, if I decide I want to move something, an individual section of it, I can easily do that without having to break up the whole thing. I don't know if that made sense, but it did to me when I said it. Okay, I think one more wall. Oops. Oops. I click there. Okay, let's see. Now it looks like it's all of that. So that'd be the coffin for the bottom. What I'm going to do is I'm going to join up this part with the bottom. Guess I'm going to have to add right height. Same way on this side, and that's because I had to make it smaller because obviously it wasn't the same width as the other. Let's see. I don't know how this would actually attach to the. First, I guess I should lower it. And then I'm going to join one part with the bottom. So now we have the whole bottom. So let's make a new one for this. We'll call it the coffin bottom. Add link set. So now we have the two separated, but what I'll do is I'll also make a full-on coffin. And I'll link all of these up together. So now it's one full set. So we got three different types of sets. We got the lid and the base separated, and we have it together. That makes it easier if you're just wanting to do one or one or the other or both. If you like, say you have a what do you call it? One of those catacombs type of build where you've got like maybe your bunker is set up as a catacombs where there's lots of coffins and skeleton parts and all built into the walls and stuff. You might want several that are closed, several that are open, several that are maybe, maybe you got a few that are busted up. And what you would do is you would either have a full set or a partial set, make several copies, and it's quicker if you have them already separated and combined both ways. That way, say I want to again just mess with the lid, I can unlink it from the group and adjust that. So we can either make our own, looks like this, kind of reminiscent of the one that we didn't want to use or couldn't get a hold of. Is that what you're going to be making, boy? That's what I did last year. I did a catacombs thing. We used it for my plot was mostly for guild use. So I had like different sections, and the bunker house was set up as a mausoleum thing, and that's where we had the costume contest. I had like it looked like a offering thing. It had the ritual candles and stuff and little platform, but all along the walls were little alcoves that had coffins and like the draken urns and things. That's what I had lined up there. So either we can have it, leaning against the thing, or you could just have it laying on the floor, or just defy logic and have it attached in some way. Yes, it would be this side here that would be joined, sort of. Don't know how that would work for this particular shape. It seems a little awkward. Well, if you want any ideas, feel free. I think there's still a video of mine from the last time I did it. If you're trying to think of things to include for, if you don't want to just do a graveyard up top, I think I had a crypt, above ground crypt. That was what I used for the entrance to the bunker house. I had the crypt, and then inside, I had it kind of slightly hidden. What I had really intended to do was to have a raised area and have the crypt up above, and then have like a little cave tunnel that you had to go down to get to the bunker house. But I wasn't smart enough to figure out how to do that. Now, Maddie and stuff, they've done a lot of those, changing the elevation really good. So they could probably figure out how to do that much better than I could have. But I thought that would be fun. I think the thing that Maddie used on the idyllic, the one with the barn, and they've got like the cave set up so that you go down the cave and into the bunker house. I think that would have been the way I wanted to go. I just couldn't figure out how to do it myself. For my catacombs, I wanted there to be those big like columns. I don't know if you've been in a catacombs. The one I'm thinking of anyway, it's like got these huge columns, and I used the edge pieces from the Hover Park set, the edge ramps. I will show you how I put that together real quick. I basically did like, at the time I had been making like tables and stuff with these pieces, and so I was really into using the edge thing, but there's probably simpler ways of doing it, but I just like the way it looked. You have to get past that it's got this black and yellow stripe, of course, but And then I linked all of these together. And then what I did is I turned it upside down. And then I made them really huge for, you know, the bunker place. And, you know, make it however high deep you want. But I liked it because it gave these curved bits. And if you add multiples of these and position it just so, it looks like arches all the way around. I mean, there's probably other ways you could get with it, but that was what I did. And then for the pillar part, I just did the handy dandy where you take the pillar and you replicate it, turn it at a 45-degree, and then you've got your big pillar. That's how I did my catacombs. Like I said, there's probably a video still floating around out there somewhere. Just make it however big you need to. And then and that's what was the whole thing, was just that. And then all along the back part and the sides, I used the Draken fences because they had the skulls and stuff, and it looked kind of rough and like they had carved it out of the earth kind of stuff. Um, so yeah, it was pretty fun. I actually know of another one. Let's see. I don't even know if she plays anymore or he plays. The trying to think of the name. Oh, if I think of it, I'll give you the name, because they had a catacombs that they were working on, but they never finished it to my knowledge. But they used Galeras stone walls for theirs, for their little alcoves, and it looked really nice. And I was tempted to use the same idea, but I didn't want to match it exactly, so I went with the Draken fences. But trying to think what the heck the name was. But if I remember it, or if I come across it again, I'll be sure and message you that way, just so you can get some fresh ideas. It might spur a thought of some materials that you can use or that you didn't think of using before. Okay, so basically I've set up the lid so it's kind of attached at these corner bits, kind of ignoring that it probably wouldn't be attached in that way. It probably doesn't really work properly. But this way, if you want it to look like maybe you want to put in a Dracula or something, and uh, he's like resting or whatever, or again, maybe it's just another mummy. Again, you could save another set, a full set with it open, so that you have a closed version, an open version, and then a separate version with the lid separated from the bottom. That way, then you could like join it to the bottom one this time. So maybe you realize you don't want to just call this one coffin. I'm going to say coffin closed. And then we want to add a new one, say coffin open. And then we'll add the link set. Then you can have some that are sitting down like this, or you can prop it up. Like say you doing a what do you call it, mortuary or undertaker place, like the one that you have in your little western town, Poi. You have it set up like that. This gets real close to being like, what do you call it? It's Iron Maiden. Is that the one with the spikes inside? You could maybe come up with a way to add some spikes and make it look like one of those creepy things that, you know, have it standing straight up, and then people would like get in it and you close it, and that's where they get all bloody and gory. So say I've got one open and I decide, oop, I wanted that closed one, then just go back to the closed and then rebuild a second one. Easy peasy. Again, like I said, you could either build your monster inside. Maybe if you are clever and oops. Fashion it in a way that you could actually have somebody standing in it. Maybe make it a little bit wider and shorter maybe, and then your little character can be in it for a nice screenshot. Or use a mannequin. There's NPCs. The NPCs are a little iffier because most of them move. Maybe you don't want them moving. So the mannequins would probably be the preferred, especially since the mannequins you can dress up in different costumes. And I know there's at least a couple that have like bandages or something. Of course, now we have the skeleton one. That might work even better. Is it? Okay. So there's our little makeshift coffin. This is for those that, again, can't get a hold of the standard coffin and still want one somewhere. This is one version of it. Like I said, if you want to go more dark colored, metallic looking, the travel posters would probably be the best. I guess I could try and make one of those if we can get the shape right. Because I kind of cheated because the corner piece actually has that little look to it. You don't get that advantage with the posters. So let's see what we can come up with. The things you wouldn't imagine you would be building in your housing often. So I'm just using the one I already have built as kind of a guide for how I want to put this one together. Now I'm probably using way more pieces. I'm sure given some time and planning, you could probably come up with a way of building it in such a manner that it's fewer pieces. And of course, you're going to have the issue of with it overlapping. You're going to have to make adjustments so there's not a lot of flickering going on. What angle are we at? Let's just put it at 170. Now, if you want to a really quick Iron Maiden, probably the Draken cabinet thing, I think would probably be like the quickest. That would be the, I want to say it's cabinet. No, it's not cabinet. What's that thing called? I'm gonna regret doing that. This one here, the wardrobe. That's probably the easiest little Iron Maiden thingy. You're wanting something that looks a little tortury with the weapons poking in and out of it. It reminds me of like a magician thing. Sticking the swords and stuff in. Now I know there's some flickering going on. I'll fix that as we go later. First I'm just getting it laid out. Because I'm hoping that, depending on how I lay these things in, I might be able to cover up certain bits. I don't have to worry about now. The trouble with this is you will have to double up on your lid if you have it open, because again the posters have that poster print on one side. You'll have to double up on the lid to make it front to front so that it looks solid on both sides. That's the case if you have like an open cabinet that you've made out of the posters or whatever it might be. I'm using the one as a guide, but I'm probably going to modify it slightly just so I can get away with not using as many pieces. Because it seems kind of silly to add an extra few just to extend it a little bit when I could just leave it this size and that. For me anyway. Okay, so I'm going to use this top one as the parent of the set. So I'm going to say link. I'm going to reduce the radius just a little bit, and I'm going to say link only like decor. So it should only pick up the, oops, and finish the thingy, did I? Try that again. There. And it didn't grab anything else because it's just the posters I wanted. We're going to move this to the side here. This gets a little tricky about how do you want the edges to meet up. Do you want it to be perfectly smooth? Do you want it to be where the top has the seam? You want this to be outside and on top? I think I'm going to leave it like that. Now I could get more elaborate and say this is wooden coffin bottom, wooden coffin clothes, but I'm just going to say B coffin lid top. So it's the black coffin top. New, and then we're going to add the link set. That way later when I want to build the bottom, it's here to lay that in. Remember, if you're doing a lot of these sets, to once in a while do your /reload UI so that it gets saved to your drive. Otherwise, if suddenly I got disconnected for some reason, it might not save the sets. Yes, it's easy enough to go back and just reset them up, but just simply to save yourself a little bit of time, make sure you do that every now and then. Kind of like working on a document in Word or something, you want to do a save kind of thing, and it doesn't have an auto save kind of feature, so you have to kind of remember to do that yourself. Okay, so about where this. This part's going to be the trickiest. You'll have to probably use 2 pieces to fill up this bit here. And again, if you have the coffin open, you're not only going to have to double up on the lid so that when you open it up, you don't see the writing and stuff, but you'll have to do the same with the interior walls. So like all of this part that you see here, you'll have to double up on to make it so that it's solid looking. It all looks black. Let's see. This way of doing this. Far down. Ah, put it at 86 instead of 84. Wait. Just a little tweaking here and there. Get it like I want. My little ghost dog just keeps walking all over the place. Some other things you might want to add is your own custom gravestones. While it looks like they are planning to give us some additional variations of them, maybe you want to personalize it. I saw all manner of things being used for headstones, from like the bottoms of certain statues and stuff to like I don't know if I have a shelf here. Yeah, to like using tops of these and get it weighted right. and then like having like a wreath of flowers or some candles, or I think I even used a portrait, because you know how sometimes they have like the little picture of the person that's buried there. Um, and of course we had those that liked having the freshly dug graves, using the items that we typically see used for dirt, like the sandbags, things like that, the bowls, upside down bowls. We've got the spade now, so you have a shovel for your undertaker or whatever that's tending to the graves. I think on my Shadesy plot, I actually built a little undertaker hut. It was like a faux house, but uh, it was something that represented where he would hang out. I think I had a gazebo on it. Uh, I kind of used it like a. All right, Bones. You have a good day at work. We'll see you later. Um, for the gazebo, I think I put benches in and made it kind of like that would be the place where maybe someone that was missing somebody that they had lost would come and kind of seek a bit of solace. I think I had a water feature, and had like a little swampy monster coming out of it. There's all sorts of things you could do, kind of dress it up. Um, Trying to think what else. I know there was a big tree. You could have a gallows. We've seen several of those on past plots. Probably the hardest thing for the gallows is finding something that works well for like the rope. Um, we do have the hangman's noose, but it is a super rare item, and so not something just anybody can get a hold of. There are other things you could probably use as rope, maybe depending on how you set it up, you might could get away with like the balloon string or whatever. But I would probably go with the sparking wire and just find a way to hide the sparking part. Uh, if you're really desperate, probably just maybe some really tiny uh, pillars and have them kind of like this, so it looks a little bit more round, and like using the exile ones, it's kind of a brown, like a rope color, and just having lots of those, you know, using it as a rope. The noose part would be another thing, but at least you have the rope part and then just kind of hang something on it. Not quite sure about the top there, but as good as it's gonna get. Let's see. I want to go that long way or short? I think short would be better. Need to find it where it's just tall enough. Now, if you know you're going to leave it closed and you just want the shape like it is, you could just leave off adding a bottom. It wouldn't be that big of a deal if there wasn't that extra little bit, but I kind of prefer to go ahead and add it in. So what we'll do is add another one of these. Oh yeah, forgot about that. And with the weird, let's see if I can line it up again. Actually, let me just try that again. Now, I've already forgotten what arrow that was that messed with it. No. Green, I think. Yeah, there we go. And then figure out what piece you're going to do for the base, and then link everything up to the base. Double check that you got all of the base. And then do B coffin bottom. New. We're going to down, so that's together. I'm going to link that bottom layer to the bottom. Okay. That. Now, to be able to double up on the lid, say we want it open as well. Now, what I would probably do is take the lid, lower it down, link that to parent, and say B coffin closed. New, add link set. So that's the whole thing together. And then if I wanted to open like this one here, then I would reload. Real quick like. Got unlink that from the parent. So it's no longer attached to the base. I'll lift it up. And I want the B coffin top. Place on link again. Now I've got two, and I'm going to try flip this. May not be perfect, because again, I was eyeballing a lot of it, so you might have to make some adjustments here and there. Wow, I'm just like really wonking it up there. So now it's solid on both sides. That's the main thing that I was going for. So link those two up. And we'll call that the coffin top solid. New, that link set. So that's the double layer. And again, if you're going to have this open like this one over here, you're going to have to double up on these as well. That'll be a little trickier. See if we get this easily rotate now. Kind of trying to use the same principles as I did with the other one. Not quite working. And see how this is like all wonky because again I was eyeballing it. If you want accuracy, don't build like I do. It's anyone's guess if you build like me. Okay, that's probably as close as I'm going to get it. And then of course, like I said, you have to double up everything. So probably the easiest is just to bring it in. Now you could, if you want to get so that you don't have this extra thickness, you could resize it just slightly so that you can push it in and have the frame showing. But I'm going to go ahead and just do it like this. So it's a little thicker. Just do that all the way around. And of course, I'm using kind of like the traditional sort of shape with the curved top. You can make them different if you want. That's perfectly acceptable. You don't want it to be the usual. Maybe you want to get funny and make it like an orange shaped one with like a long place for the ears or something, or a short squatty one for the chua. For dead trees, we have quite a few, like the corrupted trees. They come from, I think it's the Renown vendor that has those. There's a couple of crafted ones you can use. If you're wanting to make one that's kind of more spooky looking, there are the dry logs you could probably get away with, especially if you have a really dark plot anyway. The light colored of it isn't going to really matter too much. The firewood decor, it's the metal basket with the wood logs in it. Sometimes you can get away with making stumps out of one of the ends of the woods pieces that are stuck there. Also the dry log, if you put it in just so one of the limbs of it looks like a good stump, if you're looking for a, wanting to make it look like your woods is a little messed up or whatever, that would work okay. So many pieces. So we have the open lid solid. Now we need to get the base all saved up together. So now I have to add all of these extra pieces. Added into this little set here. Again, it's not perfect. You can see a lot of things is kind of misaligned. But one thing that will save you is you have a really dark plot. A lot of that will be kind of obscured because on a dark plot, a lot of the detail is hidden. So you can probably get away with a little sloppily made coffin such as this. Okay, let me just check, make sure everything's saved. Okay, so this is going to be the solid bottom. We'll say new, and then add link set, and then we'll link all of the top and the bottom together. Now it's all one chunkly bit. And then we'll add another new one and say open. New. So now I got like a variety of versions there. Open, close, the lid separated, and then the two different types. So you got a wooden and a metal looking one. If you want to add some kind of cushion, you might can get away with using fewer pieces for the bottom, but like maybe you want some kind of like silk bedding or something in there. I would probably say going with the ice rock blocks would work for that. Make it look frilly. Add some pillows for, Mr. Vampire. He has to have some cushy pillows or something. Red silk might be okay. You could probably use, since this is doubled up with it being open, you might could get away with using some kind of like, the red exile walls. And somehow line it in there so it looks like it's got red silk lining, maybe. I don't know. I think it'd be a little too much detail for me, but if you're going for a Dracula scene, that might be something you want. Make it look a little, what do you call it? Decadent or something, is that the word? Opulent, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, I think we will call it for today, guys. Just trying to throw out some ideas. I know that a lot of our decor that are especially seasonal related, they're not always plentiful for everybody to get a hold of. We might try like a fountain, because there is the, I think it's called the Weeping Fountain. It's not the set manager. yeah, the Weeping Fountain. It's in game. It looks really cool, but as far as I know, it's again one of those rare world drops. And we might try and come up with a way to make your own fountain that looks as creepy or whatever for those that can't get a hold of these. Because again, um, with certain things being kind of restricted to, rare drops, it's not only hard to get a hold of them if you're trying to farm them up, but they're expensive too, because people just, you know, want monies for their stuffs, and you want to not have to spend an arm and a leg to get it. So I'm trying to come up with some alternatives for those that have the space, feel like being a little extra creative and making your own props. So yeah, you could like just build a little coffin, have your little candy bucket inside it, maybe make it like solid, lift the floor up to be a little bit solid and like it's a table, and add some cobwebs, um, and you're good to go. Again, the cobwebs, those two are also pretty tough to come by, but I tried to show how you could use some of the eggs that has cobwebs attached to them, hiding the egg part, and then using just the webbing from the edge of the egg to kind of give you some cobweb kind of bits. You could even throw the eggs in there. Who knows? Maybe you have an eggy filled coffin. Um, just to add some little decoration. If you got the spooky lights, you can drape the lights on here even, and just have this little thing setting up at your teleport pad or nearby it. That way when someone comes to trick or treat at your plot, it's right there, very easily seen, and you're good to go. So thanks guys for joining. I hope I gave you a few good ideas. Again, Poi, I will try and get that name for you. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I know it, but I don't know it. So I'll look it up and see if I can get a hold of it so that you can take a look at what they started on. And of course, remember tomorrow is Shades Eve. It's a big event. Probably one of the more fun times of the year, aside from Winterfest with all the goodies that come with that holiday. So be sure, and if you haven't been playing regularly, to drop in at least once during this particular event to get a hold of some of the goodies that come with it. In the meantime, good luck with your projects. Remember, tomorrow, in addition to being Shadesy, we do have house tours coming up tomorrow morning. So join us for that if you like. We're happy to have you. Till then, see you guys later. Bye-bye.